All right, so this is a grand experiment to see if I can revive the Mutant Blitz podcast in a way that makes sense for me and my life, working at the radio station, my busy life. So I figured tonight is a perfect night as any with Sunday Night Football in halftime that I would talk about Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift is the biggest star on planet Earth right now. So what does that mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, that's why I'm here. All right. Obviously, it's the first time I've ever gone live on YouTube. So if you're watching me here on my YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in. So here's the deal with Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift is at Sunday Night Football tonight on NBC. She's been second straight game at a Chiefs versus anybody game because she's dating Travis Kelce. All right. Well, the reason why this is significant is because who Taylor Swift is with tonight. And that's what gets us to the topic of this live, which is Taylor Swift is in the private box with Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, among some other people as well. The reason why this is significant is because there were rumors earlier this year because Taylor Swift is friends with Blake Lively that Taylor Swift could end up being in the next Deadpool movie, Deadpool 3, with Ryan Reynolds. Now, the next Deadpool movie is going to be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the reason why that is part of this big connection, and again, I'm connecting bits and pieces here, all right, is because with the writer's strike over and the actor's strike probably going to come to an end sooner than later because the writer's strike ending is basically going to set up the reason why you can end the actor's strike. The actor's strike really only happened because writers were striking. That's why that was happening. So what does that mean for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Well, it means a couple things. One, Deadpool is going to be a part of the greater picture of the MCU. This whole idea that there is a multiverse. And if there's a multiverse, then Deadpool and Wolverine can go on their, almost like a Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure kind of deal. So where does Taylor Swift fit into all of that for any of you Swifties out there who might be tuning in? Well, what it means for Taylor Swift is that Taylor Swift would have a specific role, a specific character in the movie. And it's a character who's famous or infamous, depending on who you ask. And that character would be Dazzler. Now, Dazzler, not the most famous X-Men mutant character out there. But Dazzler was created during a time when it was, how about we say, it was very popular to steal trendy ideas and try to turn them into comic book characters. So they were trying to capitalize on the disco era. They basically made a character who's an amalgamation of Grace Jones and Bo Derek, put them into one character, and made this reluctant superhero who wants to be a pop star singer, doesn't want to be a lawyer like her father wanted her to. And she goes on these various adventures with the X-Men, with the Avengers, with X-Force, so on and so forth. And she has about a 40-year history now. And ironically enough, the only time we've ever seen Dazzler in live action was when she had that small little role in the Dark Phoenix X-Men movie, which is ironic because the first time she ever appeared in comics was in the Dark Phoenix storyline in the comics, written by Chris Claremont and came out with Marvel Comics. So, again, what does that mean for Taylor Swift? Well, Taylor Swift has been rumored to be potentially play the character of Dazzler because in Marvel Comics, Deadpool is a fan of Dazzler to the point where he actually joins her entourage at one point and follows her on tour around. So Dazzler, who is famous for a lot of things, that is a direct connection to Deadpool. She's also worked with X-Force, and Deadpool has been a part of X-Force before. And we know that X-Force was loosely introduced during the Deadpool 2 movie. And considering that this movie is going to have a ton of cameos, this Deadpool 3 movie, this Deadpool and Wolverine excellent adventure going on, it's basically going to be a situation where she could be a larger part of the movie, a smaller part of the movie. And it wouldn't be the first time a musician is a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We saw Harry Styles make that appearance at the end of Eternals, where he played the character of Eros, who is the brother of Thanos. Of course, a lot of people were like, we didn't know Thanos had a brother. And that's a whole nother conversation another day. That'll probably, not to go too deep into the weeds, but probably has something to do with the future of Star-Lord in the MCU anyway, because he is half Eternal himself, and that's a whole other conversation for another episode of one of these shows. But Taylor Swift can be part of Deadpool 3 because we've already seen other musicians do it. Harry Styles being one, T.I. the rapper being another. He appeared in Ant-Man 1 and Ant-Man 2. So there's already a precedent for someone like Taylor Swift being and joining the MCU, whether it's in a small role or a large role. My assumption is that her role wouldn't be massive because it wouldn't be super tiny. Because for those who don't know, Dazzler's power set as a mutant, as I knock over something on my shelf to my left, will be probably your right on the screen. What her character would be is Dazzler's power is she can turn sound waves into a light projection show. So she is a ventriloquist version of Jubilee. For those who don't know, Jubilee basically can create fireworks out of her hands, and she can turn those fireworks into a conduit. And Dazzler can do the same. She can use her singing and then use while she's singing and turn it into a massive light show for an attack. So she's kind of a corny character. She was literally made because Marvel was trying to do two things. Whether they're trying to capitalize on the disco movement, and by the time they put the character together, disco is not popular anymore. And number two, they were trying to create a character that fit a certain mold of what people at the time thought was a certain style of woman. And it went completely sideways because when Marvel tried to make Dazzler into a movie, the whole project fell apart. It's a crazy history, by the way. Bo Derek was actually supposed to play a movie as Dazzler. It was going to be the first Marvel movie ever made, but because the Hollywood studios were so unhappy and disgusted with her husband, the movie never happened, and they turned all the ideas for the movie in the comic books. So what about Taylor Swift? Well, Taylor Swift, like I said, she's hanging out tonight with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman on Sunday Night Football. You don't think for 1 minute that that's a coincidence? I certainly don't think that's a coincidence, but maybe you do. Maybe I don't. But I look at it as there's something going on here, all right? I mean, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, this is the first time they've been seen out in public together since they were filming Deadpool 3. Remember, the filming stopped because of the writer's strike and then the actor's strike. So here's the threads. Hugh Jackman and Deadpool actor Ryan Reynolds, both together in the same place at the same time. Number two, Hugh Jackman is still rocking the beard that he's supposed to be using for his role in Deadpool 3. Conveniently, Taylor Swift has already been rumored to potentially be Dazzler in Deadpool 3. And on top of all that, we know Deadpool 3 is going to be part of the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe. So that's your connective tissue. That's what it all means. And that's a quick explanation for why the rumors may be true. Frankly, I think that it would be cool if Taylor Swift was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not because she's the biggest superstar in the world right now, but because of the fact that I think at the end of the day, Taylor Swift is someone who she seems to enjoy doing new things. You know, I don't think Travis Kelce necessarily fits the mold of someone she's previously dated, from what I understand. I asked an actual Taylor Swift expert, Heather DeLuca from Sojo 1049, who I work in the same building with at 97.3 ESPN. And she basically said, look, Travis Kelce is not the most famous, and he's not the prototype of what Taylor Swift usually dates. So if Taylor Swift is entering this new era of new eras tour, I did not do that pun on purpose. This new era of trying different things, and you know what? Maybe she is just somebody who likes to try different things, and that is part of what she's doing. And maybe getting into the movie world is part of that. So that's at least how I look at it. That's the connected tissue that I see. Like I said, first time I'm doing one of these live streams on this platform. It's a completely different platform I've ever used for a live stream before. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how this turns out. If this does well, I'll probably start doing Mutant Blitz podcasts every week in this style of form. And I'll upload it later to all the podcasting platforms like Spotify, Google Play, and Apple after the fact. But let's first see how this does. You guys let me know at Josh Hennig on Twitter, Josh Hennig here on YouTube, what you think. Do you want to see Taylor Swift in the MCU? Do you not want to see her in the MCU? Do you care? Do you not care? Do you think it's just a coincidence that she's hanging out in the same celebrity private box as Ryan Reynolds and his wife and Hugh Jackman? Or do you think it's just a bunch of friends hanging out? Again, first time Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds have been together in public since they were filming Deadpool 3, which is on hiatus because of the writer's strike and now the actor's strike, which I still think the actor's strike will be ended soon. And again, it's because the sub reason why the actors striked was to support the writers. So now the writers are back on the job. Now the actors have less of a reason to be striking. So, okay, I got that all out of my system. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of stories popping up right now with the writers not striking anymore. So, again, I'm Josh Hennig. Thank you for watching, and we'll see in the future this grand experiment of me streaming from my house instead of in a radio studio is actually something we can do long term. All right. Have a great night, everybody.